you wanted, then you should have put a ring on it.
Are you going to choose Beyonce over Lottie?
Is there anybody who wouldn't choose Beyonce over you? It's Beyonce.
I think I could name a few.
Beyonce. Do you know who's better than Beyonce, though? Who I genuinely have seen perform and I would rate as being better than Beyonce in the same venue. Who I saw this summer was Alanis Morissette. Psychological safety, in a nutshell, is feeling like my colleagues, my co-workers, my boss, my peers have got my back. Yeah. I can trust them to be there for me, and I can fail in front of them, and they will pick me up and help me. I'm not going to suffer any, kind of detriment to getting something wrong, sticking my head above the parapet.
Calling us back to order.
Yes.
Welcome to the very first official podcast of the Deep Sea Dive, our new format. The artist formerly known as Start the Week with Lorna and Lottie from our company, The Seven Seas, formerly known as Woodreed. Keeping up?
Official podcast. Like, was there an unofficial one that I missed?
Yeah, well, there was 40 episodes of unofficial podcasts while we were just practicing.
So what, up until this point, we've not been official?
Well,
now we're official.
Now we're super official.
Oh, I should have worn smarter clothes if this was the official podcast.
Well, we've tried yeah. What did happen? Shall we just welcome everyone to our super cool Whitechapel studio first? Welcome everyone to our super cool Whitechapel studio.
It is pretty cool. We've got like a studio manager, another studio manager. And
us.
My rider didn't arrive though. I'm quite annoyed.
Where are the otters?
Where's the pool of baby otters that I always ask for and never seem to have?
Well, studio manager Alex said it was all due to Trump's tariffs on otters.
Yes, there's an otter tariff apparently. Yeah. This has got weird quick.
Sorry, I'm Lottie and
I'm Lorna, although if you're watching or listening to this probably means that you already knew that.
That's
and you've
true.
just been waiting, dying for us to come back. So here we are. How have we been?
We've been all right. We've been not the B word, because I banished the B word from my vocabulary. Do you remember what my B word is?
It's busy. And I know that because very often when somebody asks you how you are, you go, I'm not using the B word.
Yeah. In fact,
which enables you to use the B word and like reference being busy, but in a rather oblique way. It's brilliant.
Thank you very much.
It's very skillful. Tell the story of why the B word is banned.
Okay, so last year I was lucky enough to introduce Ruby Wax to the stage for one of the conferences that I was hosting, and she's a massive advocate of the importance of watching your mental health in the workplace. She stood up and did a really good talk, and the theme of her talk was about the epidemic of busyness. And how we all kind of wear it as a badge of honour, right? I'm super busy, like really overproductive, so think that I'm great, right? And actually, the psychological impact of taking that word out of your vocabulary actually does a really good thing. So at the end of last year, I was like, actually, do you know what? I'm going to actually experiment with this and I'm going to take it out of my vocabulary and see how I am. And my goodness, have we needed to keep ourselves level-headed this year, have we not? It's been a great year of change. Do you know what I've also just realised? We were about to tell the story of the...
We'll tell it in a minute. We've got so much time.
We have all the time. Oh, do you know what's amazing now?
Yes.
Is now people can actually see you.
It's horrendous.
Singing.
I don't want to look at the camera.
They've just had to imagine what you look like singing up to now.
And
now look, everyone. This is free.
Do you want to hear a fun story about my singing that I discovered this week?
Is the answer yes?
So we rehearse in a rehearse in a place called Wigington in the Cotswolds, just near the Cotswolds. Do you know who's buying a place in Wigington? Beyonce.
Stop it.
So Beyonce might literally hear me rehearsing.
Oh, that would be amazing.
It would be terrifying.
No, you can't do that, because what if she wants you to be a backing singer and then you stopped being my Para 2 business partner?
Bye-bye. If you wanted, then you should have put a ring on it.
Are you going to choose Beyonce over Lottie?
Is there anybody who wouldn't choose Beyonce over you? It's Beyonce.
I think I could name a few.
Beyonce. Do you know who's better than Beyonce, though? Who I genuinely have seen perform and I would rate as being better than Beyonce in the same venue. Who I saw this summer was Alanis Morissette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sing, just for the record, when we're doing this new format, right? I am never, ever, ever singing. There are occasional episodes where I would attempt to burst into song. Can we just make some like live pod rules? Pod rule number 1 is I never, ever, ever get lured into the temptation to sing anything.
Challenge accepted.
Good. Okay, brilliant. So we're talking about
going?
Yeah, we're talking about not being the B word, right? But we have been productive and full.
Lots of change.
Lots of change.
Lots of change. Ding, ding. Title of the episode, only about 55 minutes in.
All change. And it is safe to say that an awful lot has changed for us this year, right? You know, I think the very tip of the iceberg is the fact that we've changed the name of our podcast from Start the Week with Lorna and Lottie to The Deep Sea Dive. The Deep Sea Dive,
yes. And the name of our company from Woodreed to 7 Seas.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or from Woodreed times Little Tent, which is what the previous company was. Branded as on the podcast because my business was Little Tent and your business was Woodreed, who... Yeah. Little backstory, I've known Lottie I've known you for 15, more than 15 years, I reckon 17 years now. Yeah. And I was a client. Mm-hmm. I was a client.
Yeah.
So first met you and I was working at Volkswagen Group and you were the internal comms agency for Volkswagen Group. And as the dude who sold the shaving things said...
Yeah.
I liked it so much I bought the company.
Which is brilliant, which I absolutely... Do you know what? It's always occurred to me. There was that brilliant ad, but I mean, God, it's probably the 70s or the 80s, that shaving ad. And the whole campaign was the guy going, I liked it so much I bought the company. And that's genuinely what Lorna's done.
Yeah.
So she loved Woodreed so much. The opportunity arose 18 months ago. Our wonderful outgoing MD, Joe Moffat, big up Joe Moffat, was looking to step aside. I'd been at Woodreed for 18 years, almost as long as actually I've known you.
Yeah.
Joe was stepping aside. She saw the power and potential of you and me working together and floated the idea that actually maybe we should come together and take over the company, right? And we went,
No.
We
don't want to do that. She held a gun to our head.
She did.
And we went, okay. No, I'm kidding.
No,
we jumped at it and it's been a real roller coaster of change. So change to the company, change to the company ownership, change to the company name. Why the 7 Seas, Lottie?
Yeah, and again, this is a really lovely little story. About 18 months ago, we were sat having a really lovely indulgent vision day, right? We were like, if we are going to take this company on, if we're going to make it something really special, how do we want this company to be? It was like big, hairy, audacious blue sky thinking, right? And again, the combination of Lorna and I, Lorna's background is predominantly client side before she set up her own coaching and OD practice. Mine has always been agency, so ad agencies for years, and latterly, Woodreed had kind of started to evolve its proposition into kind of using all the kind of tools, creativity, principles, methodology of the consumer marketing world inside, which really fired me up and got me really excited. So I'm agency, Lorna's client. We are bound by the same vision and values, yet we have distinctly different skill sets. So we sat there, we were like, what are we good at? What can we bring? What are we now going to offer? And we wrote down 4 service areas, essentially. Culture, organisational change, communications, and coaching and leadership development.
Yes, we could have said leadership development, but coaching was a nice alliterative addition.
Indeed.
And then we added our values.
Yeah.
And these really emerged very organically. These were really clear to us from day one, I think.
Absolutely.
And those are courage, creativity and compassion.
Absolutely. And we sat there and we had these seven words, and suddenly we're like, these are 7 C's. There are 7 C's here. And we both looked at each other and we were like, 7 C's, 7 C's. This could be the most amazing name for a company.
Yes.
And then we went...
Or a great name for a vitamin brand. We did check with
We're trademarked. Thank you. Shout out to Piers, our IP lawyer. We've got all the documentation, all the certificates to prove it. You can't come and sue us.
Don't sue us. We're not selling supplements.
And do you know what? Apart from the fact, I love the story and it gives us obviously the opportunity for a world of nautical and watery metaphors, and goddamn, we're using those to great effect, right?
We are definitely plumbing the depths of the watery metaphor You see what I did there?
Thank you, I did.
You're very welcome.
Noted. And so we then had this big decision to make. You know, Woodreed had been around for 30 years, really well established. Suddenly, we were the new MDs in town. You know, could we, should we, can we, have we even got the capacity to go as far as to completely change the name, change the logo, rebrand and relaunch? And in the manner of always leaning into our courage, we just went, do you know what? Let's just do it. And we did.
And here we are with a newly rebranded pod, because you might have noticed that we didn't always start the week. Sometimes we didn't always have both of us.
Sometimes we didn't end the week.
Sometimes there was no week. Sometimes we barely started the month. And I need to apologise to Steve, who is in my band and who is also a very senior and important man at Volvo Financial Services, who every time I would turn up for band rehearsal would be like, where's the podcast, dude? Where's the podcast?
Yeah.
So we've got a new process, hence the studio.
Yeah.
More focus, better new process, bit more organised, relaunch, new name, which is the Deep Sea Dive. And the C stands for culture or change or communications or coaching or conversation.
Or conversation.
So we will have some guests.
Yes.
We will have some guests. We've got an amazing guest coming in a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
The Chief People Officer of Oxfam, of all places.
Yeah.
And Joyce is incredible.
Yeah.
So really looking forward to having her tell the story that she's told us before, and sharing her experiences of all those things actually that are really important to us.
Yeah. I just want to reflect back on this whole idea of change. Obviously, change is one of our core service pillars.
Yes.
And we've gone through an enormous amount of change, you know, both personally, for Lorna and I personally, we've gone through a lot of change, and professionally, we've gone through a lot of change as well.
Am I doing the gazing, adoring at you thing? We'll tell that story before
we will tell that story. We promise we'll tell that story before the end. I mean, we bigged it up, right? It's going to be a terrible disappointment
story,
when we actually get through to that. Yeah, and we've both been reflecting really on kind of a couple of things, because we were, and you made me laugh when you said this to me the other day. You were like, we are like an arranged marriage. Mm-hmm. What do you mean by that?
It came to be not because we were both thinking, I want to buy a business, I want to go into business with somebody, or we've been working together thinking we should do this by ourselves. That's not how this partnership came to be. It came to be because Joe Moffat, who was the founder of Woodreed, the brainchild behind it, the powerhouse that drove its success for 30 years, very selfishly wanted to spend some more time with her grandchildren and take her foot off the gas, which has been pedal to the metal for those 30 years plus, whilst raising 3 boys and running, you know, a business that at times has been, you know, 40 plus people, right? So Joe approached each of us individually and said, how would you feel about taking over Woodreed?
Well, yeah, because I think she'd noticed something really special about, because we'd been working together, right? I mean, Lorna was then an associate of us at Woodreed. It wasn't like she was suddenly jettisoned, like, ta-da! Here she is. We'd been working together. Lorna had been working as an associate for us, and she'd seen, and clients had begun to see, like, the real magic when you and I work together. And she spotted that, right? She spotted it, and she said there's something quite special about the power of 2 that you guys offer.
Yeah, and she never articulated it like that to me. She just sat me down in the most hallowed halls of the Supreme Court of the United Kingdom in these massive, like, stained glass windows all around us.
Why were you there? Why were you there? That, you can't just drop that in that we just happened to be at the Supreme Court when she.
So we were delivering work for the people team and the chief executive, helping them co-create their people strategy. It's a really lovely piece of work.
Yeah, it is.
And Joe took that opportunity, because never let it be said that woman doesn't understand the power of theatre and positioning. Yeah. She took the opportunity to sit me down and say, what about it? Yeah. And we said, well, why not? Mm-hmm. You know, why not? Mm-hmm. So when you say why an arranged marriage, because it was sort of it was Joe's brainchild, Joe's kind of thought that germinated the whole thing, and because of that, because really there'd been we've known each other for a number of years and worked together for probably a year on and off. Yeah. Yeah. No kinds of, you know, getting to know each other, none of that, and So we've done that whilst
We've done-
delivering work for clients.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we have. And I think what I've reflected on, and one of the many things that Lorna's kind of taught me through her coaching practice, is I've become so much more reflective. We were chatting about this yesterday, weren't we? And so I've been kind of reflecting a lot about the changes that we've gone through, because obviously we work with a lot of our clients going through change.
Oh, yes.
Change is very, very central to our core proposition. And what I always like to say in terms of, you know, how well we live our values every day when we encourage clients to be value-centric cultures, right? We have to demonstrate our live and values.
Yeah.
And equally, a lot of the models, a lot of the technique, a lot of the development that we do with clients, the models we share, have been things that you and I have really lent really hard into over the past year. And, you know, and it's really, I mean, full
we stress
disclosure,
tested them, didn't we?
it's not always been easy.
No,
You know,
not
and
at
I'm
all.
thinking about, you know, things like Kim Scott's radical candor,
Yes.
for example, which is something you introduced to me, and it's the gift that keeps on giving, as far as I'm concerned. And we work with our clients with radical candor, and we've worked really, really, really hard and intentionally to have that radical candor with each other, which is all about challenging directly but caring
Personally. Shall I do a quick précis of Radical Candor? Which would be useful.
Yes,
so
please.
Radical Candor was developed by a lady called Kim Scott, who was the Chief Operating Officer of Google for a long while. And the other thing that's useful to know about Google in this context is that around about the same time, they were doing a lot of research into what creates high-performing teams. And one of the things that they came up with through a project called Project Aristotle was the evidence that one of the foundations of a high-performing team is something that they call psychological safety. And put very simply, and one of our other clients, the Chief People Officer in NHS Trust, translated this really beautifully this morning. He said, basically, at work, have you got my back?
Yeah, I love that.
Right? Really simply, psychologically
Easy for you to say.
Psychological, as I say very often, psychological safety in a nutshell is feeling like my colleagues, my co-workers, my boss, my peers have got my back.
Yeah.
I can trust them to be there for me, and I can fail in front of them, and they will pick me up and help me. I'm not going to suffer any, kind of detriment to getting something wrong, sticking my head above the parapet. So Google did all this research and realised that psychological safety was really important. And at the same time, psychological safety requires you to be able to challenge, speak up, have conflict and debate.
And make mistakes.
But in a safe environment. Yeah. And Kim Scott created this framework, really simple, 4-box grid, like so many are, which is on 2 axes. And it really supports psychological safety because the 2 axes are, to what degree am I challenging directly in this conversation, in delivering this feedback? And to what degree am I demonstrating that I care personally about this individual in a way that they really feel, right? And that axis is absolutely determined by the individual on the receiving end of the conversation or the feedback. So she has 4 quadrants, my favourite being the I don't really care and I'm challenging you an awful lot, which she first named the asshole quadrant, or the asshole quadrant.
Asshole.
Yeah.
Studio manager Alex, that's another one of our rules. Sorry to interject, but one of the rules.
We're not swearing?
I don't think so.
Why?
Alex, can we swear?
Yeah. We're not swearing, says the woman who just shouted asshole.
I repeated asshole. When Lorna said asshole, I just repeated it.
Okay, we've done it about 6 times, so I'm going to keep going with the model.
Okay.
And we can swear. I think we can swear. So anyway, 4 quadrants, depending on which degree you are demonstrating that you care personally and to which degree you are challenging directly. There's a really lovely video if you search Kim Scott Radical Candor on YouTube. I won't say we'll link to it in the show notes because we never do.
No.
But you can search it on YouTube and it's a great start. If you're irritated by a Californian accent, she's quite Californian. Other than that, it's a really lovely feedback model, and we we try it really hard every day.
We try it really hard every day, and I think what's really interesting, and again, we never, all the things we work with clients are things that we actively model ourselves or test out or try or lean into every single day. We'd never encourage a client to adopt it unless it was something we were actively doing. And I think
some evidence behind it.
Yeah, and I think in terms of the way we've muddled through, I don't mean muddled through, obviously. I mean soar like an eagle, soar like 2 eagles followed by otters. Sorry. So unfunny. Should I stop being funny? Is that another rule? Lottie can't try and be funny.
You are funny,
is that we have not been afraid, or when we have been afraid, we've lent into the really difficult conversation. That's one of the things that have really carried us through And then the other thing, because of course a lot of these models were relatively new to me, right?
Yeah.
When we first started working together, a lot of the models were relatively new. And Tuckman's model of team dynamics, what?
I was just about to talk about Tuckman, so it's
No way! I mean,
do.
it's almost like we know what we're doing. I mean, we don't, but...
Yeah, Tuckman, go ahead. I don't want to jump in on
It's fine, let's see if I can remember it.
So why do we use radical candor in clients going through change?
Yes.
Because very often when you go through change, there are changes to the context that you're working in, the people you're working with, or the goals or objectives that you're trying to meet. And the Tuckman model of team development is a model, most people will remember it when I say forming, storming, norming, performing, you'll know what I mean. Most people have heard those words. Adjourning is the addition on the end, which is kind of the departure phase this team is dispersing.
That's not us, by the way.
No. So forming, storming, norming is what people very often they know that as being phases of team development. Again, not going to put it in the show notes, not even sorry, please just Google it. Or we actually do have some really lovely materials that we can share if you wish to contact us, and we will do.
Yeah.
But what very often happens in change is that it flips you back to the beginning of this developmental cycle, and you come back together again with new objectives, new team members, new context.
Yeah.
And then you have to go through storming. And the best way to get through forming and storming is with some really clear feedback that builds trust but gives clarity.
Yeah.
Hence radical candor.
Yeah, and I feel like we've been, because we've had, as we've gone through this year, we've had additions, we've had new members of the team joining, and I feel like, I kind of describe it as a little messy middle, and we get into the messy middle, and then when I think we're kind of performing, we're then maybe set back a little bit, and it's just been fascinating for me, as a kind of classic ad brand marketing girl, to be exposed to and leaning into and learning and applying some of these kick-ass models, and just seeing the practical application of them in the way that we've been working together.
Yeah, and I think it means that when we're talking about it, we talk about them with clients from a point of view of kind of deep understanding and also empathy, because it's not like we're doing radical candor brilliantly every day. Sometimes we dial up the challenge directly too much. Sometimes we dial it down. We're too care personally,
and then we just can't get to the point.
We can't get to the point. So, and those are the pitfalls that you fall into with a model like that, for example. Yeah. So I think we have really pulled out every tool in our toolkit, haven't we?
Yeah.
Literally, both of us have pulled out every tool in our toolkit in taking over this business and rebranding and taking over the back office stuff. So I've lent into lots of stuff that I haven't got involved in for years, but was there in my toolkit.
Yeah.
You have with the rebrand and the website, and then we both have with the how the bollocks do we make this work together, when we always say that you and I are like a Venn diagram.
Yeah, I love that description.
And there's a lovely meeting of minds in the middle, which you've described really nicely in our proposition and our values. But there are some things that are very distinct and unique to each of our experiences of work and the world and life and so on and so forth. So those are the things that I actually think make us special, and clients very often back that up in terms of the point of difference. Yeah. We're not two HR women having a chat about HR. We're not two ad people having a chat about brand and marketing.
No, absolutely.
We're kind of both and neither.
Yeah.
Both of us are more than just that, and together we're much, much, much more.
Yeah, and what's so lovely is it gives us the opportunity, we're learning so much from each other as we go, which is, joyous. And I think the way I like to articulate it, and it's on our website as well, is Edwina Dunn's brilliant phrase, the power of two. And she was such a proponent of this, because that's the philosophy that she set up, Dunn Humby, the company, with her husband, the founders of the Tesco Club Card. She's an incredible woman. And one day, Edwina, I'd love you to come on the podcast.
And direct plea to camera with hands.
Well, you said hello to Volvo Steve.
Volvo Steve. I think he would prefer to be bass and motorcycle Steve, actually.
Yeah, and her philosophy was all around, so when she set up the company with her husband, it was very much about them having a shared vision and values, but very distinctly different complementary skills.
Yes.
And the whole kind of idea of 1 + 1 = 3, where the sum of that.
537.
Well, given my maths, actually, it possibly could be.
You do yourself down on this. Don't do
me a sum on air. Never ask me a sum. I can do the 9 times table.
Please don't right now.
No, I won't.
We need to keep some listeners. On that note, and I think we're coming up to about a 25-minute mark, and I want to make sure that we leave this. This has been necessary, I think, but also maybe a little bit more self-focused and reflective.
Yeah, they're not all going to be like this.
Reflective. But I do want to, I'd like your maybe top 3 things that you think we've lent into to get through this change, and then maybe I'll share mine, and then that might be a useful takeaway. Should we do that?
Okay, let's do that. I think number 1 is obviously courage. From a personal perspective, and this is not a personal podcast. Lorna and I kind of keep our personal lives quite separate. Sometimes we give a little soupçon into what goes in our personal lives. But alongside all of this, I was negotiating my way out of a very long marriage and my divorce settlement, which took a very long time. So alongside everything that we were trying to do with work, with the buyout, with the rebrand, on top of obviously running work for our incredible clients, for which we are enormously grateful. I was like a sort of side order of...
Little side hustle of divorce
there for you. Little side hustle of divorce. So for me, the courage that both of us displayed, and in fact, I sent her a WhatsApp last night because we do quite a lot of we do a lot of WhatsApping. And in fact, what I did say yesterday is that you were one of the bravest people that I've ever met, didn't I?
Thank you.
Yeah, and I mean it. So kind of leaning into courage, and Glennon Doyle's amazing quote of "we can do hard things" is something that
we say to each other every day.
We say to each other quite a lot, exactly. So, courage is definitely one that I've learned. Self-reflection, reflective practice is something that I have lent so heavily into. And again, I can thank you for that, right? I have learned more about myself and my needs, my motivations, my drivers, what I love, what I don't love, than I ever have before. And also the idea that actually, if you think big, if you dream big, thinking back, Lorna, to 18 months ago when we did our big, hairy, audacious vision, I mean, we're here. We're literally here already. Not here, no, I don't mean physically here in Whitechapel studio. I mean, we've got to where we wanted to get to, far quicker than we ever imagined. Yeah. So this kind of idea of dreaming big, having these big dreams, and actually they come, they kind of happen.
Yeah. And did
I answer your question?
Yes, you did. And you've just sparked a little thought in me, and then I'll kind of give you mine, and then probably we'll say something funny and then close.
Don't hold your breath.
So, not 55 minutes later. What are you doing?
Oh God, I just...
So you did snort. Now that we've got to see you snort as well as hear you snort, is the beauty of being on camera. Again.
Not being funny. Anyway.
What was I going to say?
Your 3 things. It sparked a thought.
Oh my God, those 3 things. But now it's gone out of my head.
Okay.
No, it'll come to me. It will. No, it's gone.
Can I also just say we haven't told the story of the newsreader and the...
Sure, we're not going to. Next episode.
Teaser. They said in unison.
Teaser.
Can you remember any of your 3?
So it wasn't my 3, it was the thing that your 3 made me think of, because I was listening to your 3. So we often say to clients when they are going through change that flexibility, being willing to be flexible and adapt, I think, and not being rigid and stuck to either an outcome or... So this seems like it's in juxtaposition to your 3rd one of big, hairy, clear, audacious goal, but it's not. Yeah. It's be really clear on your going, but be adaptable about the means. And I think, so we've got a number of clients who are going through change. Yeah. And I think if you can be... And I speak to some of them sometimes, and they say, how did we just get these people to do this thing that I want? And this, be clear about where you're going, but be adaptable about the means, I think is really important. Not everything's going to go to plan. Not everything's going to end up being the way you envisaged it. In fact, it'll often be better. Yeah. That adaptability, flexibility, it's this principle of, the tree that bends it deals better in the wind and all of that. So that, I think, for me is one, the power of just open, continuous communication. Keep communicating, and when you think that you've done enough communicating, you've explained something, do it again and again. Nothing is kind of lost by repeating something, and lots is lost by assuming. So I think that's another pitfall that we've tried really hard to avoid. Yep. But it's not always been the case. We've been navigating not just the 2 of us, but also Jo, who is stepping back, but is still very much present and there for clients and there for us, but is also watching us go, what do we want that 25-year-old accounting system for? In the bin, and all the assumptions that we've brought with doing some of that stuff, and her going, hang on, you might want to just do this. Yeah. So don't assume, so communicate out loud. And then I would share your 3rd one, courage, it's a little bit of a North Star for me. I think I've done a lot of great things in the past 5 years. And it's one of our values. So, we've both been brave. And also, do you know what? Just keep having fun
And again,
yeah,
that's what we
that.
say to our clients. And we work really hard, but oh my goodness, do we have... And we've got so many stories of kind of fun, but let's not go into fun now. Let's just say...
No fun in this podcast. No fun, no swearing.
No. And no me singing.
And no stripes, apparently.
I know snorting. Snorting.
No snorting of any substance.
Studio Alex.
On that note, should we wrap up?
Studio Alex manager.
Alex manager.
I think this will definitely be edited. Alex, we're sorry.
No, he won't, because he doesn't want to edit a video format. So this is all going to be on camera.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to wrap up now and to say thank you.
Cue the close music right now.
Thank you for indulging us. And the only way is up, and we are,
baby.
Thank you.
You and me now.
See ya.
Bye.